I have a confession. Usually when I do these more script type videos, they are actually scripted and I am reading or teleprompting along. And today, Danny has told me that I needed to be a little bit more natural, which means I need to throw the scripts away and just be myself. So we're at take number 100 at the very least. I'm having a lot of fun, so I hope you are too. And today we're going to talk about reasons why you shouldn't potentially move to Santa Cruz. I know last week we talked about reasons why you should move to Santa Cruz or why people are moving to Santa Cruz, but I also think that there are some potentially negative factors that should be considered prior to making that big decision of moving here to Santa Cruz. So do not move to Santa Cruz without watching this video. I'm Shemeika Fox, your Santa Cruz real estate expert and your personalized real estate concierge. And I would say that one of the biggest challenges about moving to Santa Cruz or living in Santa Cruz is the high cost of living. So not only is our real estate that is for sale quite expensive, but our tax base is approximately 1.25% of your purchase price. So if you're buying a home for $1 million+, then you're going to have a tax bill annually that's over $10,000 on top of your purchase price, on top of your interest, on top of your insurance, on top of your mortgage, etc. But the other thing that's expensive is the rental market. And for both reasons, I do believe it's just the fact that we have such a lack of inventory and limited inventory. In the rental market, we're competing with students. And, when you're in college, I know I did at one point share a room with somebody or a house with somebody. You have roommates, so it kind of offsets that cost. But if you're a family or a single person and you're looking for a home, let's say on the west side of Santa Cruz, you could be looking at a 2-bedroom house that's going to cost you about $3,500 or potentially more per month. Of course, all these things are variable depending on the property, location, etc. But the high cost of living in Santa Cruz is a real thing. The other thing that kind of contributes to the high cost of living is that we have a limited job market, which is why so many people who live in Santa Cruz actually are employed over the hill in Silicon Valley, where you can get a better, higher paying job that can support the cost of living in Santa Cruz. But what does that mean? That means that you're commuting over the hill. You're going over Highway 17 on a daily basis or on a few days a week basis. So you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with congestion, you're dealing with driving, you're dealing with road rage, you're dealing with Highway 17, and Highway 17 is a pretty atrocious road. If you've never been on it, I would suggest you actually check it out before moving to Santa Cruz, because it is not the only way in or out of Santa Cruz, but it is the primary way out of Santa Cruz if you are commuting over the hill to Silicon Valley. So our limited job market is another factor that contributes to one of the reasons why Santa Cruz might not be the best place for you to move or live. Traffic and congestion, we've talked about Highway 17, but also Highway 1. They are constantly doing construction on Highway 1 to make it a bit more palatable, but in my opinion, it seems to just be getting worse. Maybe after the widening and the construction is done on the south portion of Highway 1, we might start to see a little bit of an impact that lessens the time that it takes to get from the west side of Santa Cruz, so to speak, all the way to Aptos. I remember when I first moved here in 1999, I lived on the west side of Santa Cruz, and I could drive to Cabrillo, which is the college that I first went to when I moved here. I could drive from Santa Cruz to Cabrillo anytime prior to 5 o'clock, and it would take me about 20 minutes. Now I swear I get in my car and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know why all these people are on the road, but it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and people are literally in stopped traffic trying to get across town to Aptos from the west side. So traffic and congestion is a really big thing to consider. If you don't like spending a lot of time commuting or traveling in your car, then I would suggest that you really consider this before you move to Santa Cruz. One thing that I do, which I love to do, is I like chatting and catching up with my friends and family while I drive. I also love audiobooks and podcasts. So at least I'm entertained while I'm stuck and sitting in traffic. Okay, another issue I would say is our homelessness or our unhoused population and our housing crisis. partly contributed due to the fact that our real estate is so expensive. It is unaffordable for many. And we have a huge homeless crisis and a huge unhoused population, which can be challenging to the people that are unhoused, and it can also be challenging to the aesthetics of Santa Cruz. We have encampments that are around Santa Cruz that are trying to support this homelessness, this homeless issue. So that's another issue that I would say that you should be aware of before moving to Santa Cruz. And besides that, we have, I'm not scripted, so now I don't know what I'm saying, but I do know what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. Another issue is our wildfire risk. We had that massive CZU fire a few years ago, which left many people without homes and fighting with the insurance companies to rebuild their properties and fighting with the planning, zoning, permitting departments to rebuild their houses. And many homes have been reconstructed now, but many have not. But besides the fact that we're still dealing with the repercussions of those who lost their homes, we're also dealing with the fact that now getting insurance in some parts of Santa Cruz due to the high wildfire risk is, I'm not going to say impossible. I've yet to see somebody completely turned down, but it is quite expensive, which adds again to the high cost of living. We go back to number one. I know these are not really fun topics to talk about. It'd be way more fun to talk about like all the fun things you can do in Santa Cruz. And don't worry, we've done that and we'll do it again, because as I said at the beginning, I love this community and I love Santa Cruz as a town. But there are some things that could negatively impact your decision to move here. The other thing that I want to talk about is the limited diversity in amenities. So though we have kind of a baseline for everything, our medical opportunities are not tremendous. If you have a really big issue, I know many people have to go over to Stanford or SFSU or another, over the hill medical facility, because we have Dominican, which is our main hospital, and it's fine, but it doesn't offer everything that one might need. Besides medical, we have limited opportunities in the form of entertainment. We have a few venues, but just a few. We don't have a plethora like you would find in a bigger city like San Francisco or Oakland, for example. We have some shopping. Excuse me. We have some shopping, but we don't have all the shopping. So I know for my daughter, for example, if she wants to go shopping, she wants to go over the hill so that she has more options to choose from. We have some food, and the food that I eat when I go out is quite delicious. But again, it's limited. We only have a few options. So we have limited diversity and amenities, and you do have to drive other places that are close-ish in proximity, so they are accessible. But just something to consider is that you might not have everything that you need right at your fingertips. Another thing that I don't actually think is a negative thing about Santa Cruz, because I love a small town feel, but some people, if you're looking for a bigger city feel, Santa Cruz really has that still that small town feel. So if you're looking for a bigger experience, I would say Santa Cruz is probably not the right place for you. Weather. I love the fog. My husband loves the fog. It's cozy. It's nice. It keeps everything cool. We never have extreme heat or freezing cold winter snowy days. But also, if you expect to be lying on the beaches as if you were in Florida or as if you were in San Diego, Santa Cruz might not offer the same opportunities in the summer, because our summer months tend to be a little damp, a little gray, and a little dreary. So something else to consider is the weather. Another thing is tourism. We have a huge impact of tourism over the summer. We get tons of people that come into Santa Cruz. Some of them stay for an extended period of time. Some of them are just here for the day and then they leave, the weekend warriors. But we do get a lot of tourism, which adds to our traffic. It adds to our congestion. It adds to waiting in line for things that you want. It adds to trash and debris that's left on the beaches and in these beautiful tourist attractions that make Santa Cruz so beautiful. So tourism, though it brings a nice bit of economy to our cute little town of Santa Cruz, it also has a heavy impact as far as additional people utilizing the limited resources that we have, and some of them leaving trash behind, which is, in my opinion, quite disgusting and disturbing and unnecessary. I think the last thing that I want to mention, which isn't a huge big deal because in general, Santa Cruz is such a beautiful place, but I've been to cities or towns that have these beautifully done tree-lined streets, flowers blooming, and there's just a really nice aesthetic kind of curb appeal to the city. And I think that we are lacking there. Like, one of my favorite streets in Santa Cruz is Walnut Avenue because it's got these beautiful, like, mature walnut trees all down the street, but there's not many other streets that are like that. So I think a bit more could be spent as far as beautifying our streets, making them more inviting and a bit more aesthetic. So do not move to Santa Cruz without watching this video, because though I think it is a wonderful place to live, there are also potentially some negative factors that could impact your decision. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Shemeika Fox, your Santa Cruz real estate expert and your personalized real estate concierge. And as always, I'm here to help. Make it a great day.